Thomas Workman and A.J. Kavanagh are intuitive channels who have a remarkable ability to speak for a spiritual collective they call the Guides. They are unique in that they channel the Guides together, sharing one mind as they deliver messages. The primary interest of the Guides is helping us all live consistently in the state of joy, accomplished through a set of simple practices they call the infinite pathway. The infinite pathway, journey to self-realization.
You have chosen this time and space. You have chosen this period, for it is a remarkable time where you shall see great gains to humanity's growth and evolution, ascension. If this is the word you are most comfortable with, this is fine to us. We are less interested in the words that you use and more interested in the energies, for it is the energies that is what it is that we are speaking of.
Hello, I'm Thomas Workman.
And I'm A.J. Kavanagh. Welcome to the Infinite Pathway, Journey to Self-Realization.
AJ and I are talking through some of the most important messages that we've received from the Guides about everything from understanding our divinity to the ways that we're connected to all of the universe.
And as you've just heard, and as you might even be feeling, this is an amazing time for humanity's growth, evolution, and ascension.
But what does all that really mean? I mean, terms like evolution and ascension are big buzzwords at the moment.
Well, they sure are.
But they are often used vaguely, and they make those concepts confusing for all of us.
Well, they can be. Many of us associate evolution much along the lines of Charles Darwin's theory, where he proposes that a new species can develop over time from that of a pre-existing species.
Like man evolving from apes.
Exactly. That is the illustration of how many see evolution. The Guides take the idea that natural evolution of the species, as in Darwin's theory, and extend it out further into the universe. The Guides say that everything is expanded and extending upward and outward as part of the natural order of creation and expansion itself. In fact, modern scientific measurements have actually confirmed the idea that everything is expanding and evolving.
Okay, so we've got natural evolution from ape to man, and then we have natural growth and expansion, like from seed to tree.
Exactly, that is exactly correct. They are both aspects of evolution. But that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about in this episode today. We're not here to teach about evolution.
Wait, what?
Well, not exactly, Tom. The traditional scientific sense of evolution is not something we're going to touch on today. Okay. But what the Guides are interested in is sharing this aspect of our spiritual evolution, which is at the heart of today's episode. So let's listen in on how the Guides define this.
What you call ascension, and this is a correct term. You may use any number of terms. The term you use, also evolution, does apply here as well. And for many of you think evolution only addresses your physical circumstance, the monkey who grows the tail, or the fish that learns how to walk over many times. For there is equally an important evolution occurring within your mind and higher mind and your connection to the entire universe.
Yes, of course. Evolution of the higher mind, not just the physical body. I mean, I think this is what people mean when they talk about being awake, not woke. That's something completely different. But there's an important connection between our physical evolution and our consciousness. And it sounds like the Guides don't really care what words we use to call it.
Well, that's very true. But remember, it's not just about us. Our evolution also includes everything around us, including Gaia herself. Now, the Guides explain that it's all related. They say Your expansion is the expansion of the universe. Your expansion of consciousness is the evolution of the universe. As it grows, you advance the entire universe. This is important for you to know. So, in this episode, we're going to share the guide's messages about expansion, evolution, and ascension, or whatever word you choose to call it, and how each of us play a very critical role in both our personal and collective advancement.
But just to be clear, physical evolution for humans and all other beings is still occurring, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. In fact, the guides talk about this as well. But notice how they come back to the element of consciousness. Let's listen in.
And your young ones especially, for they are this much closer to the shifts in their DNA, which brings about the new human. For you, of course, know you have not finished evolving as a species. You continue your evolution into newer and newer species which are able to address their problems. We often say the monkey grew the tail because the monkey knew it needed the tail. And the same is true with what you are growing into as the new human, your ability to communicate telepathically, your ability to transcend your languages, your ability to reconnect. So we would first and foremost say to you that you are accomplishing part of what the impulse of the evolution is towards the greater and higher good. The greater and higher species, the new human, is a critical part of the expansion of the universe. These things are not disconnected.
The guides share that an important aspect of evolution is the improvements that occur with each generation, the modifications that happen in our genetic codes that manifest every new generation. Here are the guides adding to this. New generations being born now, they are coming with knowledge and tuning that is already moving in dimension, some already living in the fifth dimension.
Well, okay, I want to discuss this because there's a good deal of talk in the metaphysical community about fifth dimensional consciousness. And I'm not sure everyone understands what that is either.
I agree. So let's let the guides explain it from their unique perspective.
We welcome your understanding of expansion. We encourage you to consider each day the ways in which the universe is expanding. First and foremost, your consciousness, what it is that you are aware of, for this is the movement of additional dimensions. The purpose of your moving from third to fifth dimension is the awareness that comes with those things you were blind of once and now are dimensions within your view. The subtleties, the gray areas that move you out of the extremes of any spectrum, from love to hate. Now suddenly you see the spectrum of light in between.
The guides explain that we are currently only able to perceive our world from 3 dimensions, which are all physical in nature, and are perceived through our 5 senses. For example, we know trees in the forest are there because we can reach out, see, and touch them.
Right, but when we move into fifth dimensional reality, we're able to perceive the non-physical realities, such as the living being of the trees and its connection to all of the rest of the trees in the forest. Well, we won't even need to see it to know it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Advancing into new dimensions allows us new consciousness. You can see how important our ability to see new realities are to our understanding of the world and each other. Let's hear about what the guides have to say about this.
We promise you there is so much more going on around you than you are able to see. It is not your weakness that keeps you from seeing it. It is purposeful. But know that as you transform, you will see more and more. You will experience more and more. This is the evolution of your consciousness, where things that you had never realized before become reality for you much more often, become a part of your sentience. become a part of your perceptive fields. And as you grow with your senses to see and to hear and to smell and to taste and to touch and to feel these realities more and more, you will find greater enhancement and therefore greater joy. It is available to you and will continue to be so.
Let's take a moment to understand how the guides see evolution. The guides have given us the image of the spiral, which we see in the outer arms of the galaxies, but also in things like our DNA sequencing, the many seashells, and the upward spiral growth of plants and trees.
Yes, these are all examples of natural evolution and expansion, the spiral outward, suggesting that we're continually finding new dimensions of reality as well as new ways of being. For example, the progress of our technology, which enables us to live and communicate in ways never imagined before, or our medicine, which enables us to understand and address illnesses in the body in ways we never could before. This is where evolution and creation work together.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And the spiral upward, suggesting improvement, refinement, and a higher level of being, or what the guides say is our greatest and highest good. Both aspects of expansion, moving outward and upward, offer every being in the universe great benefit as we, through our growth, through our evolution, through our expansion, break through into new levels of awareness and consciousness.
Yes, but what we really need to understand is that all of this is happening right now. And many of us are feeling an intensity to our current expansion in ways that feel quite different than we may have in the past.
The guides have provided some much needed insight into the current times we're living in and about some of the things many of us have been experiencing. Let's hear the guides speak more about our current times.
Let us speak of this time, for it is unique. It is like no other time in the history of the universe, for every moment is unique and is moving in a spiral upward, outward. You are creators, and you are constantly expanding for who you are now. Who you are to come is different than who you were, and who you were not only in this incarnation, but in others. Now is a very important time of expansion for your species, for all of your civilization.
Tom and I certainly can feel this shift, this conscious ascension, as some call it. Many are awakening to this shift going on right now, and we hear this from our clients as well as many others who are just beginning to experience some new insights and are discovering what they once were certain of is no longer so.
Yes, it's happening the world over. The effect of this energy is pure transformation. And we're seeing examples of it everywhere as people are beginning to question their politics, their careers, their relationships, their environment, and so on. Let's hear the guides speak more about this.
What does this feel like? We wish to be clear to you. This will feel as if times of great beliefs or determined truths for you, rules that you have always believed you must follow, or rules that you have believed the universe must follow, are now suddenly open for questioning, are now suddenly revealed as perhaps not as permanent as you believed they once were. Rules that were not rules at all, but simply ways in which you have determined things must be. So you shall find many times in the coming days and in the coming years that there are set and solid rules you have been obeying or have simply believed to be true, and that now you find perhaps are not true about the ways in which humans must interact with one another.
Now, one of the surprising things the guides have said to us is that the energies of these times can feel very intense to us and at times even cause us some discomfort. Here's an example of what they say about this.
pay attention to the emotions that are occurring randomly, for they are signs to you. Remember, we say to you, all of these energies are transformative, intended to create change, improvement in the spiral upward, forward, for there's never backwards. There is only forward. Pay attention when a random, seemingly disconnected emotion emerges for you. A sudden sadness or loneliness, a panic, if you will, any form of the emotion is worthy of your consideration, of your contemplation, and to recognize where it is it's coming from, for it is deep within yourself that is being pulled out at this time. The very purpose of these energies is to raise emotions that have lied dormant for you for quite a period of time, and in recognizing them to finally transform them. Now is the time to dig out deep in the closet of these thoughts and beliefs and emotions.
There are a few things to note in this channeling. First, one aspect of evolution and ascension is that we grow out of the things that no longer serve us individually or collectively.
Right. The guides speak often about this idea of digging out those ways of being that are not aligned with the world we are becoming. They explain what they mean in this next clip.
Nothing in your world is broken and in need of repair, for everything works itself out as it must in its transition, for the water must boil over, and you are watching the water reach a much higher boil than you have seen in the past. And this boil can appear frightening. It can appear dangerous. It can appear to be distressful and to lead to despair. It is, however, important for you to maintain the perspective that we have and that the whole universe has, that transition at times causes tumult, that in fact there is at times the need for disruption before there can be new expansion and new growth as imperfections work themselves out. Here you are, especially on your planet, going through a change of dimension from separation to oneness, and in this, all that is separating of you, conflicting opinions and conflicting ideologies and conflicting beliefs and conflicting desires are merging so that they can be released, so that they can be moved past, so that they can be seen for what they are.
It certainly feels like it's challenging times right now, probably because of our awareness of things that resonate with us or the things that do not has become quite heightened. Things such as injustice, corruption, and narcissistic behavior seem rampant, but serve as an important contrast for us to make new choices and make new conscious decisions.
Yes, and the guides do not mince words about what must be transformed to move us to our greatest and highest good.
Not from magic does this transformation occur. Not from waking up one morning and all is well, all is peaceful, and you have entered some great new age, for this is never how beings who have full choice are able to transform. It is at times chaos. It is at times watching the floor break apart. It is at times coming to a place of realization that enables new choices to be made. We wish for you to be aware that the things that are happening around you, the changes to the Earth's climate, the pandemics and the viruses that are taking over and causing so many issues and problems, even the political unrest that surrounds you, not to mention any of your own individual issues that will continue to emerge even though you do not understand why. These things are all there to assist you, all there to help you choose again.
Imagine a world where we're able to see beyond our limiting beliefs and judgments. You know, it's exciting to think about this because it's exactly where we're all headed.
It sure is. And the guides tell us often that the excitement is felt across the universe. But the guides remind us that we still have a way to go. Let's listen.
The entire universe looks with bated breath for what will occur in your next stages of development. For now there is plenty of rough and ragged edges to your existence. Yes. Now there is still violence, there is still judgment, there is still separation. These things must be addressed, for they are not sources of joy for you. They are not assisting you in the ways that you wish to live, for you are intended to live in joy. You are intended to live whole and complete so that you may create and you may expand. And so we have come now, for now is a time of your awakening. Now is a time where your consciousness has begun to tune upward and you can finally hear us.
Now, at the top of the program, we mentioned that each of us play an important role in our individual and our collective ascension.
I think that these are some of the most exciting messages, and for some listening, the most surprising reality. What we think about and what we create actually plays a part in the evolution of the universe as well. Now, the guides say, your own desire enables the ascension of you and your planet. We encourage you to use your desire to see the planet you wish to live on, to see the ascension of yourself and those around you as you wish for it to be. The idea that it is our individual choice to ascend really is important here, because some suggest that there are those who, through fear or resistance, won't actually go through the transformation. Here is what the guides have to say about this very important point.
What you are seeing now, however, is this dark side of this evolution. You are seeing the highlighting of those refusing to advance their own consciousness, and so they stand out to you at the moment. Yet you and so many more are showing a level of empathy and of cooperation that was not seen in the same form. You may say other times in human history seemed more communal, yes, under obligation and necessity. We are suggesting that there is a growing consciousness that does not occur all at once, but evolves over periods of time.
You know, it's an interesting point the guides make here. Our evolution, conscious or not, necessitates change. And there are those who will go running barefoot into the unknown, and there are also those who will simply dig their heels into the ground in an attempt to hold on to what they know. So what the guides are suggesting here is that we should exercise our abilities to become more aware of the subtleties and not just the extreme.
Just like, when a tree begins to grow and branches start to form over time. Those branches form leaves, which can then help accelerate the growth and the strength of the tree as it becomes stronger. Its roots go into the ground and stabilize the environment. Well, I've got another great analogy for you here, and this is one we can all relate to because we've all been through it. We've all experienced it, and that's the natural process of evolution from becoming a boy and a girl to that of becoming a man or a woman.
Oh, puberty.
You got it.
Oh.
Yes, it feels uncomfortable,
Oh.
unfamiliar, chaotic at times, and definitely overwhelming as you become aware of how your physical body is changing, but also how your mental and subtle body is also awakening to those new experiences and those new aspects of your own consciousness.
Mm. A perfect analogy to what's going on right now with ascension. Unlike puberty, though, the guides say perhaps our greatest expansion is that of our consciousness. You are at the threshold of an awakening of self, an awakening of who you are and your essential role in the universe.
So, what the guides are saying here is yes, evolution is always occurring, just like the image of the spiral suggests, but there are also times and moments where we see a significant turn in that spiral, or perhaps a branching out from it.
Right, just like what happens when we enter puberty. All of the conditions, all of the aspects of evolution and expansion are in place for it to occur. Nothing can stop it. This is the new age. This is the new earth. And this is the fifth dimensional consciousness we're breaking into right now. Here are the guides again, offering some perspective and advice on this acceleration of consciousness.
We ask you all to consider the primary difference that you are all experiencing in this current unit of time as you exist and operate on the third dimensional level. There is a momentum, a desire, a falling back to what is known to find solutions which have worked for you on the third dimensional level. Yet the point of difference which is before you now is your extending into and being aware of that aspect of you which is and currently resides in the fifth dimension. So we get back to the point of attunement and authenticity, which are elements of the gateway and the pathway through to an opening of your consciousness into this new reality.
Now, notice how they talk about your opening up, your attunement, your authenticity. This is another important reminder that our evolution, although collective, does not in this instant happen entirely in spite of you. It happens because of you. The guides say, you are the source, you are the spark, you are the light. We say to you, you activate this. You activate the ascension in yourself, in others, and in the planet by your mirror.
I love this.
Yeah.
It certainly sums up the notion of co-creation, of us as a part of Source itself, not separate, but a part of natural expansion of the universe. Here's the guides again.
Why is it that the universe does this? There are two answers. One is that you yourself are adored by Source. But the more important answer is that your expansion is the expansion of the universe. Your expansion of consciousness is the evolution of the universe that has been growing since the very dawn of the universe. Since its very beginning, though, there is no actual beginning and no end. It is at a point of your consciousness, we would call your starting point, that as it grows, you advance the entire universe.
I can really see from this how important our choices are at this time. But how can we bring all this together in integrating our evolution with our current times of expanding consciousness?
I've got an idea. How about some daily practices?
Perfect.
We'll let the guides lead with some insight about our first and then give you the actual practice. Consider at this time that there are a great many who are opening up consciously or unconsciously to more reception, more sensitivity, that in this process you may need to consider that more is being felt and received in others than has ever been before. And so, therefore, it is important to consider your approach, consider how you may interact with others at a more open, spiritual, and heart based level, for they are now opening and ready to become aware and receptive at this level.
Oh, I know where this is going. This practice is about being more conscious of how we interact with others as we open up to new awareness and new sensitivity.
You're exactly correct. The idea here is to be conscious that those around you, those even you may not know personally, like someone serving you in a restaurant, are also opening up to new ideas, perhaps dropping old habits that no longer serve them and adopting better ones that do. This is a growth period, and as such, we need to be a little gentler, a little more accommodating of others as we each find our way and allow that nurturing to naturally occur. In fact, the guides say, we are particularly interested in your movement now toward the fifth dimension. By this, we mean your ability to connect with another's intent. This is significant, for there will be new growth and a new development of your empathy.
Now, we've introduced the practice of empathy in earlier episodes, but this means more than just trying to understand someone's perspective. The raw emotions you may be feeling at this time are probably also being experienced by someone else. So, silently reminding yourself of this before you begin any interaction and considering it again when you're processing the interaction, especially if it felt unreasonably tense or emotional, is a great idea.
I love it, actually. You'll be amazed how this realization that someone else is also in the process of transformation changes your reactions to perhaps difficult interactions you may be having. Actually, I've got another practice for you, and this is along the lines of consideration. But this daily practice involves your being open and aware of the signs that are occurring around you to help you align to the new energies that are available to you right now.
Back to an awareness of fifth dimensional consciousness. There are a great many mingling of energies, old and new, going on right now. Let's hear the guides' take on this.
We feel your sense of rawness, your sense at times of overwhelmment, particularly now in the energies that surround you. We understand and can see the challenge that is before you in being able to manage all that is coming in, all that is emerging for you. And so we see that at times emotions may feel raw. There is at times a quickness toward anger or frustration. You must test your new ability to sense and to feel. And as these become raw and rough and ready, they also enable you then to have a greater depth that will be so critical for you as you continue to evolve to the humans that you are becoming.
Yes, you can feel it. There's a lot being brought up to the surface right now.
Right. Those things that we feel sure about are suddenly not feeling quite so right. The foundation of many of our beliefs sure feels a little more unsteady these days. So, in your journal or just during your times of quiet reflection, take a note of what beliefs or premises are now feeling different for you.
Like Elphaba at the end of Act 1 in Wicked, when she sings, "Something has changed within me. Something is not the same."
What?
Well, it's a really heavy episode, so I thought we could use just a drop of musical comedy.
Well, I'll agree with you on that. It's a good example as well. So, noting these changes or even questions about long-held beliefs can actually help you turn this new consciousness into new choices.
And that leads perfectly into our third and final practice about our evolution, and that is, despite it all, keep dreaming, keep creating. Let's hear the guides say more.
We encourage all of you to begin this type of dreaming, where you are dreaming of the world in which you wish to live. You are dreaming about the planet that you wish to be on, the humanity that you wish to have surrounding you. Accept nothing as reality. accept nothing as the way in which it is, for this is a falsehood. Nothing is just as it is. Everything is able to transmute, to transform, to become what it is as a collective you wish for it to be. You wish for a world without war, yes? Imagine the world without war, and then watch each of the parts that together cooperate and work collectively in order for this to occur. For peace does not live within just one individual, it lives within all of humanity.
Peace does not live within one individual, it lives within humanity. I really like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Our collective desire for peace illustrates our final practice. What kind of ascended, evolved world are you dreaming of? What is it that you are asking for in this next turn of the spiral?
We recommend keeping an ascension wish list because, as the guides just said, everything is possible. An economic system that enables everyone to have what they need, a world where wellness is the norm and illness is just the exception.
Or, even a world where everyone has a greater understanding of the breadth and depth of the universe and all of the living beings within it.
Whew. Well, as always, we're both so grateful that you've joined us and the guides today on our epic exploration of evolution.
Yes, perhaps it's enabled you to fill in a few of the blanks about the times that we're living in right now and how you feel about them. But be sure to return to those daily practices. They're going to make these times feel a lot less bumpy should you choose to apply them.
Very true. Now, we'll leave you with one final quote from the guides for this episode and invite you to join us for our next episode, our season final, and it's all about realizing our oneness. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Do you know that your wishes are aligned with those of Source? For Source adores all of its creation. Source wishes for all of its creation to grow and to expand, and therefore you need simply agree with Source. You need simply turn to Source to say, yes, you agree with me, that these beautiful ones must grow and must expand, and our future are in fact those that all of the expanded universe and its dimensionalities are working toward and working for. And these young ones bring great gifts themselves. They are not simply helpless, for they too have made the same decision you have to incarnate during this time for this amazing transition that is occurring for you and for your planet.
And with this, we are complete and yet never far away.
Coming up in the next episode of The Infinite Pathway. For the latest messages from Thomas, AJ, and the guides, please join them on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, or follow them on Instagram at Speaking From Source. You can also book your personal session with the guides on their website, speakingfromsource.com.